Okay, now the 10K, that's our frequency that can determine if we're doing a pop mix or a hip hop mix or a rock mix. Like in pop, you want that frequency to be just perfect, just like the right amount of sweetness in pecan pie. But in a hip hop mix, you don't want too much of that because it gives you the feeling that it's not hip hop. Hip hop has a grand tradition from its founding of a lower amount of that frequency. Some people might call it less fidelity, but it's not less fidelity. I think hip hop is the coolest sounding stuff ever. But you want a little less of that in your hip hop. Let me show you with and without that.
Everything that's ever meant anything. Everything that's ever meant anything.
Now, if you're on a laptop, some of these things are going to kind of go by you, and you're just going to have to trust me. You won't be able to hear them. Now, the 5K, this is my Jason Joshua frequency.
Everything that's ever meant anything.
Now, what I like about that frequency and why it's important is Bonnie, her emotion, her feeling, and her character and charm is the way she tails off the ends of words, and she has a lot of breath, like Brandy has a lot of breath, Mariah Carey had a lot of breath, and that's where their personalities are, Christina. So that frequency helps determine and give the listener a feeling about the attitude. Let me take it out.
Everything that's ever meant to.
Okay, listen real close to the end of thing.
Everything.
See, it's just a different, you just hear that it's just very subtle, but a few hundred of those in the song can make a difference. I'm going to exaggerate it just so you can hear it. I'm at like 1.8.
Everything that's ever meant anything is standing right here.
This is with less of it.
My everything that's ever meant.
See, all you hear is everything. What I say I had, I think 1.8, 2.8. I think I had 1.8.
Everything.
That sounds good. And then here we got our low end. I didn't want to add anything above 100, but when I added a little bit of 100, it didn't quite feel right, so I added a little bit at 126. Actually, I didn't. I just added 100. Okay, here we go.
Everything. Everything.
I'm exaggerating. It just adds a little warmth on the bottom. Oh gosh, I said the W word, Will.
Everything that's ever meant anything.
So you can see what that kind of does. Now, let's hear it in the mix. I'm going to take just the EQs out of the mix, and let's see if we can learn something from that. Okay, here we go.
Everything that's ever meant anything.
Okay, listen to the two NGs and the breath on those two last words. Anything and watch.
Everything that's ever meant anything.
Okay, let's see if I've got a consonant in here somewhere that we can kind of play with.
Standing right here before my standing.
I don't. But trust me, the consonants are really coming through nicely. Okay, one other thing. I'm gonna breeze through some of the effects. Let's add the effects back. Here's our Bricasti buddy.
Everything that's ever meant anything.
We're just trying to put her in the same space as the drums. There's this real drummer, so that determines the space. So I want to make sure she sounds like she's in the same space as the drums. I'll play you that in a minute. Now this is an effect I inherited, but I liked. Now this is our old buddy doubler. I'll show you that in a minute.
Everything that's ever meant anything.
Now the output of the doubler, if you recall, I sent it to two wideners from waves, the S1 and the PSS. So it sounds, now this is the delay that, I wanted the delay to sound like we were listening in our mind. You know how like sometimes the radio frequencies in the old movies, they made it, that they used it so you could hear people's thoughts, you know?
Everything that's ever meant anything is standing right here.
Okay, so it's very lo-fi, very, very mid-rangey. Now this is the one I really want to show you. This is the most important one. This is going to a compressor. It doesn't matter what compressor it goes to, and then the output of that compressor is going to a limiter, and I'm taking off maybe 2 or 3 dB from each. Now it's bone dry. In fact, I rolled a little bit of top end off of it, a little bit of low end. I'm not showing it to you because I want you to learn this, because it's very important. The effects made the vocal go back in the mix a little bit. Now watch what happens when I add this compressor. It brings the vocal back to the front because it's a very steady level because of the compression, but it gives you the feeling that the vocal moved forward in the mix. Watch this. I'm on 20, minus 20, so this is without it.
Everything.
You know what, I'm going to do a shorter thing so we can kind of, so I'm going to bring it up and watch what happens.
Everything, 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 everything.
It doesn't really change the sound. It just gives you the impression that the vocal is standing in front of all the instruments. Were you able to hear that well? Did it come through? Okay, real quick. Here's the setting for the doubler. I'll leave that up there for a second, and then I'm widening that too. So I hope that kind of gave you a little bit of a different insight than some of the other things I've seen on the web. Don't think of frequencies as negative things or positive things. Think of them as generating an emotion or covering up an emotion, and you're trying to get that feeling and emotion out of that vocal. Let me play you a little piece of what happens when the guitars come in.
I never see all my dreams come true. The one that mattered the most was you. You're all I ever wanted, all I ever needed. You've given me something to hold on to.
It competes with the guitars. It's a ballsy, gutsy sound. So I didn't have to turn it too loud. It just sits where it should sit. It's a power ballad. So send me some questions if there's something you don't understand or you need amplification on. But I think that should get you started in a new way to think. You don't use my ideas. Just use my concepts to get you thinking in a direction. Practice this stuff, and I'm telling you, it'll open up a lot of worlds for you. And like I said, I always say, don't think about it just for vocals. Think about it for guitars also, for pianos also. Everything contributes a little bit of emotion and energy to a song. And instead of focusing on making something sound good, focus on making it feel good and give you the emotional feeling and the vibe that you want it to. Hope you got something from that. Okay, guys.